The House on Blackwood Hill. Part 2. The Unseen Presence. Ghost Story. Jenna's scream echoed through the dark library, sending chills down her friend's spines. The cold hand on her shoulder vanished as quickly as it had appeared. Mark managed to get the flashlight working again, and its beam cut through the darkness, revealing their frightened faces. "What just happened?" Lisa asked, her voice trembling. "I don't know," Jenna replied, trying to steady her breathing. "But something touched me." Tom shivered. "Maybe we should leave." "No," Jenna said firmly. "We need to find out what's going on. There's something strange about this house." They huddled together, moving through the dark hallways back to the living room. The fire had nearly burned out, casting eerie shadows around the room. They stoked the fire, bringing some light and warmth back. "Let's stay together," Mark suggested. "We shouldn't split up." Everyone agreed, and they settled around the fire once more. Jenna picked up the old book they had found in the library and began to examine it more closely. The symbols and text were still unreadable, but there were drawings of strange creatures and dark rituals. "This book looks ancient," she said, showing it to the others. "It might have something to do with the weird things happening here." As they discussed the book, a faint noise reached their ears again, the whispering, now coming from upstairs. Jenna felt a chill run down her spine. "We need to see where that's coming from," she said, standing up, but we stay together. Slowly, they climbed the grand staircase, the whispering growing louder with each step. They followed the sound to a long corridor lined with closed doors. The whispers seemed to be coming from the end of the hallway. Jenna led the way, her heart pounding in her chest. When they reached the last door, she hesitated for a moment before pushing it open. The room inside was cold and dark, with a large, old-fashioned bed and heavy curtains that blocked out the moonlight. "Do you see anything?" Tom asked, peering over Jenna's shoulder. Before she could answer, the door slammed shut behind them, trapping them inside. The whispering grew louder, more intense, filling the room with an eerie, otherworldly presence. Jenna clutched the book tightly, feeling its power pulsing in her hands. "What's happening?" Lisa cried, her eyes wide with fear. The room began to shake, and the whispers turned into a cacophony of voices, all speaking at once. The air grew colder, and they could see their breath in the dim light. Jenna felt something brush past her, an invisible presence moving through the room.
"We need to get out of here," Mark shouted, rushing to the door and trying to force it open. It wouldn't budge. Jenna looked around desperately, trying to find a way to escape. Then she noticed a small trapdoor in the floor, partially hidden under a rug. "Here," she called out, pulling the rug aside and revealing the trapdoor. "This might lead to the basement." They hurried over, and Mark managed to pry the door open. One by one, they climbed down the narrow ladder into the darkness below. The air was damp and musty, and they could barely see in the faint light from above. "Where are we?" Tom whispered, his voice echoing in the confined space. "I think this is the basement," Jenna replied. "We need to find a way out." As they fumbled through the dark, Jenna heard the whispering again, this time coming from the shadows ahead. She felt a cold dread settle over her as they moved deeper into the basement, the whispers guiding them towards something unknown and terrifying. To be continued.
Dear esteemed listeners of Sadat TV, this was the second part of today's story. Stay tuned, the third part is even more exciting.